Alright, the second unit we did was congruence and transformation. So we started off with some proofs. Identify congruent triangles. Well, let's see. I can say triangle M, I'll say NOM. So NOM is congruent to triangle ROP. NOM and ROP are congruent by angle, side. The only one that I don't have is right here. These guys have to be congruent, so it'd be angle, side. NOM, ROP. NOM, ROP by angle, side. And the reason I know those are congruent is by vertical angles. The next portion, this is saying, like, what information could you add to the picture? Well, if you told me those were congruent, so if angle D was congruent to angle A, then I would have angle, side, angle, and I could prove triangles. How else could I do this? I could do side, angle, side if you told me that these guys were congruent, so that would be EF is congruent to BC. That would give you side, angle, side. And the last thing, if I could do angle, side, that would be angle B is congruent to angle E. So if you told me that angle B was congruent to angle E, then I would have angle, side. I could pretty much do the same thing for this problem, but you have to start off saying, hey, those are congruent because they're vertical. I don't need to list that. Those are vertical angles. Those are congruent. The first thing I could do is if you told me that F and X were congruent, F was congruent to angle X, then I would have angle, side, angle. What else could I do besides that? I could do angle, side. That would be Z, and I think that's a W. If you told me that Z and W were congruent, angle Z is congruent to angle W, that would be angle, side. And the last thing that I could do would be side, angle, side. And the way I would do side, angle, side is if you told me that YZ was congruent to YW, or WY, doesn't really matter. Side, angle, side. So these are just proof reviews. Here I'm actually going to do a proof, and oops, the most helpful thing for me in these problems is to redraw the picture and then label it again with what they told me. They told me that A, B, C, so that's congruent, and this is a right angle. They also told me that this is BDC, so this is BDC. And one thing that you might want to take note of is that this is a shared side. So they told me that these are congruent, they told me it's a right angle, and I also have a shared side. So what I'm going to do is prove that these triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. The first side I have is AB is congruent to CD, that's given. The angle is angle B is congruent to angle C. I can say that when I split them apart, but I might want to say ABC and DCB. Those are both 90 degrees, that's also given. And the side that I have is BC is congruent to BC itself. That's the reflexive property, or we sometimes just say it's the shared side. I have triangles are congruent. I can say triangle ABC is congruent. ABC is congruent to DCB by side, angle, side. Now, that's not actually what they asked me to prove. They said, how do you do the hypotenuses, the hypotenusae? That would be AC is congruent to BD by CTC. The corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Since I proved the triangles, I can say all their parts are congruent. We call that CTC. On the bottom here, I've got some problems that have some quadrilaterals, so what you need to do is find the corresponding parts. And that would be AD. I want to know what AD corresponds to, and I can use this. AD corresponds with EH. So EH is up here, so I'll just set those equal. 3x plus 9 equals 6x minus 12. Get all your x's on one side, that's 21 equals 3x, and then that means that x equals 7. I need to do the same thing with, oh, that's an angle. Angle G corresponds with angle C. Do I know angle C? Yep. I could say that 8y plus 39 equals 119. So that means that 8y is 80, which means y is 10. That's not degrees, it's just 10. That should be a 10. Y equals 10. We're good? This one's very similar, but I think what I'm going to do is first figure out what H corresponds to. H corresponds with T. Actually, if H and T correspond, I can set those equal. 6a minus 3 equals 51. So 6a is 54, which means a is 9. I did that right off the bat. I think I'm going to need to do something else, though. Let's see. What's S correspond to? S corresponds with K. Do I know K? Oh, that's this guy. I don't know that yet. Maybe I should go back and get an angle. Let's see. R and J. R and J, this is 83. Maybe this would help. So I could say, if I want to find B now, I could say 51 plus 83 plus 7B minus 10. These three angles have to add up to 180, which means if I subtract that, I get 7B minus 10. So just that part has to add up to 46. So 7B is 56, which means B is 8. And that's page 2, or page 1 of part 1.